All right, story time. This one's a very special one, a near and dear one to my heart. One that had changed my life forever. Uh-oh, there's my legs. Okay, so, uh, this is about the time where I found out that I was diagnosed with diabetes. And, yeah, diabetes really sucks. I want whoever's listening to really take from this and try to learn, because it's not being able to eat sugar really sucks, because then you really get a whole new perspective of how much sugar is in everything that we eat. And some things are just unavoidable, but it's really, 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 really easy to really mess up your health if you don't monitor it correctly. Um, so this one time, I was, I woke up one morning and I was, feeling a little funny, and I had to pee, every morning pee, and my wiener felt a little strange, like I don't know, like you ever it's like one of those things when you pee after you jack off, and like you feel a little bit backed up, like with the pee trying to funnel through and push through, anything left over in that hole of yours. This one's for the boys. I don't know if girls really have the same kind of feeling or anything like that. But anyways, um, basically, I went to pee in the morning, and my pee had like a strange kind of color. Now, keep in mind, I went through about 7 stages of different colors of pee. This might be a little gross and a little scary for some of you, so I definitely gotta say viewer discretion is advised. But basically, I went to go pee, and it was like an orange kind of hue to it, like a little orange, nothing, like just little slight orange, like a clearish yellowish orange. And yeah, it was odd, but I just didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, it's a little uncomfortable, but nothing that's just, it just feels like what you would feel if you were, if you jacked off the night before, and you got a little residue and you kind of have to force a little bit of it out. But yeah, basically I was peeing and it was orange, and it was strange, but I didn't think anything of it. So my boy hit me up. He was like, yo, you think you can help me out, take some of these pictures, because he had like a professional camera, and I was helping him with some flicks at the time. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be over in a bit. He lived like about a block away, so I got dressed, and I headed his way. And yeah, like I helped him take some pictures in his backyard of his fit or whatever. Yeah, and I was getting the urge to pee again, but it was really soon. Like, I was not even out the house for like 10 minutes, and I already had the urge to pee again. So I'm thinking, that's really weird. Like, I just peed a little bit ago, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So I was a little worried, but I didn't mention anything to him. And I took the pictures, and I was like, yo, like, I gotta head home and use the bathroom, so like, yeah, I'll talk to you later, right? So we wrapped up, and I went home, and it was like I really had to pee badly, which was just weird, because it was like it wasn't that long ago that I went to go pee. So I make it home, and this time I start to pee again. Now, remember what I said before. I went through different stages and different colors of pee. This time, the first one was like an orange. This time, it was a bright, bright red color, and it hurt so bad to pee. Like, my gut was hurting, and my wee hole was hurting. And I was really, really petrified because I'm thinking, oh my God, don't tell me I got a kidney stone. That's like one of my biggest fears is getting a kidney stone. Passing a stone, I've heard so many stories, and apparently it's like one of the worst pains you could ever go through. I think someone compared it to childbirth at some point. Like it's like a decibel of pain factor or something like that. But, you know, I don't know. That's up for speculation. I'm not no scientist or person who does statistics or anything like that. But I knew it hurt like hell. I will say that. So, there I am, looking into the toilet bowl at all the blood that had sank to the bottom. So it was like there was clear pee on the top at the top, but then just straight blood at the bottom. Now I'm like, oh man. And this is Easter of 2020. Easter Sunday of 2020. I'll never forget this. And I get to my mom. Like I leave the bathroom, I go to my mom, I'm like, hey mom, I think I need to go to the hospital. And she was like, why? And I'm like, I'm peeing blood. And she's like, are you sure? You know, does it seem like I think I would know if I'm peeing blood, mom. Like it's just like, did you eat like a bad cabbage, you know, or like maybe some radish, you know, because you know pee changes color if you eat. I'm like, mom, it's not like a turd where I don't know if it's carrots or not in the toilet or like corn or something. This is blood. And she's like, okay, all right. So she goes to the bathroom and looks in the toilet. I didn't flush it yet, and yeah, she saw that it was in fact blood, and she was like, oh boy, yep, we got to take you to the hospital. So, oh man, so there I am, you know, I go off to the side and everything, next to my mom, and she was calling around to see what hospitals were available, because around this time, so around this time, you know, it's peak COVID time, a bunch of hospitals are like filled to the brim. There's not a lot of people, like, I mean, there's a lot of people who are, or basically, you know, like sick with COVID, and all the hospitals were packed to the brim. So I'm like freaking out because I'm like, dude, I actually have, not to, you know, discredit COVID or anything, but I have like a pretty bad emergency that could be either as serious, if not more, than COVID, you know, in my eyes. Because I'm like, dude, I don't want my dick to fall off. Like, I'm terrified. I'm like, what if I piss like a razor blade of just rocks? You know, I don't want to go through that. I'm scared and stuff. But we eventually found a pediatrics that was willing to take me in and take a look at me. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go with the pediatrics, whatever. So we head on over to the pediatrics. I don't know if I'm like saying that right, by the way, but whatever, we'll roll with it. We'll just call it pediatrics or pediatricians, whatever. So we go there, and you know, I'm sitting around these kids and everything, or like coughing and sneezing and stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself of telling them, hey, you know, don't drink too much soda, kids, you'll piss blood. You know, I obviously didn't act on saying that to them, but I definitely was thinking about it. But anyways, yeah, they called me in, and they're like, so what seems to be the problem? And it was this nurse lady. It's really nice girl who was like a nice, solid, like maybe 7 out of 10. She was pretty hot. And you know, at the time, you know, I was a single man, and I was, you know, I wasn't trying to hit on her, but it was definitely like, I was thinking, I'm like, oh man, you know, if everything turns out to be fine, I can definitely come back and, you know, start coughing and sneezing, pretending like I got some issues going on just to talk to this girl. But those chances were completely swept from under my feet, because basically they asked me to pee in a cup, and I'm like, okay. I guess like they want to test out what's going on. So I pee in the cup, make sure I get it all in there. But they wanted me to do some like weird thing where it's like they wanted me to like, they're like, all right, we're gonna give you 2 cups. This one you pee immediately into, and then you have to stop peeing, you have to wipe your wiener, and then you have to pee in this other cup, the last bit of pee. And it sounds simple enough, but when you're actually doing it, it's like hacking into the NSA. Like, you really have no idea what you're doing, and you're also in pain too, so you don't want to pinch it off in the middle of peeing. So it's like it was complicated, but I managed to get it right and get it figured out. So now this stage, or this color of pee, was it was like completely gray and cloudy, like pretty much damn near like black, and I was like, oh man, that does not look good. Like, I don't know, it looked like I don't even know how to describe it. It looked like if you get like if it looks like bathwater from like washing your dog. It was just that disgusting looking. And yeah, so I handed this disgusting vial of venom to this nice lady, and she had her partner with her. It's strange, but she had her partner with her, and they're looking at it and examining it, and I'm just like, dude, it just looks like I've had nothing but a diet of whiskey, and like I'm a moonshiner or something. Like, I just have like the most disgusting, unhealthiest looking pee known to man. But anyways, so they take a look at it, and I'm waiting in the room for a little bit, and they're like, all right, so we're gonna need you to drop your pants and take a look at what's going on down there. And they asked me, it's like, have you seen any discharge or anything like that? So like, I guess like pus or whatever, or like, what is it called? Like dick cheese, pretty much. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, no. And they're like, all right, well, we're gonna need to drop your pants. And I'm just like, hell yeah, man. We get to show these 2 broads my thing, I already knew in my head. I'm like, once they see it, their mouth is gonna be watering, like they're salivating looking at a big sour candy, I'm thinking it's like, this is odd circumstances, but hell yeah, they get to look at my cock. But yeah, so I dropped my pants, but as I'm pulling my pants down, I got humbled immediately, because what I thought, they didn't have any discharge or anything, it had discharge. Like, I had a dick booger. It was really disgusting, and I know it's probably hard to hear it now, but this is something that like I hope that people can like really take note of, so that way they can take care of their bodies better, because this was not cool, or not nice, or not good. It was just awful on every end. So I dropped my pants, and I had this big yellow booger coming out of my wiener hole, and they were like, oh yeah, there's a little discharge, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, thinking, I'm like, I could probably still hit, but yeah, I had that going on, and I was really embarrassed, and they were like, it's fine, just clean yourself up, here's a tissue or whatever, and we'll be back later with the results. Now, I don't know if the doctor was there, but oh no, not so the doctor was there, right? And they immediately was like, all right, so we're gonna have to do a STD test, or STD check. And let me tell you, you don't need to go through this procedure in order for them to find this out, and I only found that out later. But essentially, an STD check is probably top 5 worst tests that you can get. Like, I'd probably been better off getting an enema or a colonoscopy than this STD check. But what they do is they grab this kind of like, it's like almost like glue or something, it's like a weird cream that they put on a Q-tip, like a really long Q-tip, and they shove it down your wee hole, and they scrape around and they like twist it, and like talking about it is making my stomach hurt. But yeah, I'm gonna try to skip ahead just for the sake of your guys' eardrums. But yeah, basically they gave me an STD check, and they did this procedure that was horrible. But that's how they run things. That's how they do it. So basically, they after the procedure was over, they were like, okay, we're gonna give the results soon. And yeah, they checked the results, and let me tell you, I was petrified of the results. I got the results back, and they said you can either have one of these 4 things if you do have an STD. You can have syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and one other thing. And when I read these results, I almost fainted. I was like, oh my god, I haven't even had play in a while. Like, this had to have been like months since the last time I'd done anything with anyone. And at this point, I'm looking back, and I'm like, I texted the last person that I slept with, and this person had told me, oh yeah, well, I didn't tell you, but around the time that we were together, not together, around the time when we hooked up, I had a UTI. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. I'm like, you gave me something, you fucking wicked harlot. You damn harpy. You ruined me. You ruined my career. It's barely even taken off yet. Jeez. So I'm ready to kill this girl. And I'm like, you got to be absolutely kidding me. I keep dying. I suck. Oh, you gotta absolutely be kidding me. You gave me something, didn't you? You dirty woman. You bad, dirty woman. And, yeah, as it turns out, I went to the hospital in like 45 minutes away from my home that turned out to actually have an opening, or like have open spots for emergency cases. So they sent me over there. I'm on my way over there, and like, again, like, I'm still needing to pee like crazy and stuff like that, but I'm too scared to pee at this point, so I'm kind of holding it. Because I'm like worried. I'm like, dude, if I pee, like, something bad's gonna happen, and it's super painful. I don't want to go through this. I was scared, man. Like, it was really, really traumatic. But yeah. So, at this point, I head over to the hospital. I'm laying in the ER, and this was like an all day thing. Like, I think the problem started at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I make it to the hospital at like around 7 or 8 o'clock. And yeah, I go to the hospital, and they pretty much tell me, all right, well, the next time you need to pee, you just need to pee in this tube thing, which was a weird device, like a very odd device. It looked like a milk jug, like for like the courts or whatever. And I peed in it eventually, even though like it was like I was in like excruciating pain, but they had assured me that this is what they need in order to gain results and see what they can do to treat it. So it was basically this color. It was like the pee was basically like a burgundy color. So it went from orange to crimson red to grayish black to like an amber kind of like not amber, but like a to like a burgundy kind of color. It's like a brownish red. And I'm still needing to like pee and stuff even after I peed. And it was just awful because I was going through so much pain. But they studied it, and they're like, all right, so let's go get him the right medicine that he needs. And at this time, my mom, she wasn't allowed in the hospital. COVID it had COVID rules, so they couldn't just let anybody in the hospital. Like who didn't have COVID because it was like a high risk thing. But anyways, so I went and told them like, hey, my mom's out there. I was just wondering if she was okay. Like I'm texting her here and there. And she texted me and she said, I'm going to try to stay here overnight in the parking lot because my car's broke down. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. When it rains, it pours. My mom, her car had like started having trouble and stuff like that. And, like I had this really, really hot Dominican nurse treating me and stuff like that. And she told me she's gonna go check on my mom and them and stuff. And she was a really sweetheart. She was awesome. She let other people, the other nurses know about like my mom being stuck in the parking lot, and they went to go see if they could try to help her with some stuff going on in her car with the car. And I said to the lady, I'm like, well, if she has to stay overnight in the parking lot, could you at least give her like some blankets or something? Because like it's cold out. And they were like, sure, no problem. So that's what they did. They ended up going to get her some blankets and stuff. She was fine for like an hour or so. But then she went to go get she got the car like started and everything like that, and I told her to go ahead, head on home. I'll let you know how things go and everything on my end. So I'm up basically all night, too scared to pee and everything like that. But they moved me to a room now, and in this room, I was like starving, but apparently they had told me, all right, look, so this is the deal. You don't have any kidney stones, you don't have any STDs or STIs to worry about, but your A1C was at like a 6.2 or 6.4, something like that, if I remember correctly, and your blood sugar is at a 300. For those of you who don't know, no, sorry, it was 406. That was my blood sugar. Those of you who don't know, the normal range that your blood sugar needs to be is between 90 and 100. Mine was quadruple where it needed to be. So they went to go and they told me like, oh yeah, you might have diabetes now, bud. But you're past pre-diabetic, and you are now at the point where you are pretty much type 1, I believe. And yeah, they said we're gonna give you some medicine to clear up. And I'm like, so how does that explain me peeing blood and stuff like that? And they said, so what happens is when you eat too much sugar, it needs a place to store it, and that place that it was stored in was your bladder. Now, because it was stored in so much was stored in your bladder and wasn't expelled from your body, like in a natural way, like burning it or however you get rid of it, it stored in my bladder and it scratched my bladder up, giving me a UTI. So, I cussed this girl out thinking that it was this girl that I slept with who gave me something for no reason. I cussed her out for no reason. But yeah, like, it turns out that, I just had too much sugar in my system. It scratched up my bladder, causing me to have an infection and causing me to pee blood. Um, Now at this point, I'm like, great. I can't have any sugar. This is seems pretty serious, and I was a little worried, but I was like, it is what it is. I think at this point, I just gotta roll with the punches and see where I can go, what I can do, and yeah, it pretty much showed that I just had diabetes. And I asked the one of the nurses for some food. She was kind of nervous to give me food, but she still gave me some food. This was when I was already in a room of my own, and I was out the ER. But that lady was very nice. She got me like a little something, something, to snack on and stuff like that. Still being mindful of, my situation. But I ate. I texted my mom. I texted my dad first because I was in the area. I said, "Hey, I'm by your place. Like I'm in the hospital. I think I'm diabetic now, and blah blah blah." But I let my mom know, and she was a little worried. She was like, "That's no good, but at least now you know what it is, and it's not anything that you have to go through further pain or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah." So that instilled a lot of fear in me going through that experience. Luckily, I'm okay. I'm just monitoring my sugar and stuff like that now. Taking insulin now. And it's been hard. It's been really hard trying to live this life without the things that I'm used to eating and enjoying. It's it's not as easy as just put the ho-hos down and put the Twinkies down. Like there's a lot more that you got to be considerate for, like carbs, because carbs can turn into sugars if you're not careful, with your intake, and you have to compensate how much medicine you take with how much carbs you're eating, things like that. So yeah, continuing the story though, the next day rolls over. I wake up and I had to pee really bad, extremely bad. But I'm like hooked up to an IV, and I'm hooked up to like wires and stuff, and I'm like, they're flushing my system out and stuff like that. So I'm nervous because I'm ringing the thing to get the nurse to unhook me, and no one's coming. And I'm like, dude, I am literally about to like shit my pants and shit the bed and piss the bed and vomit the bed and cum the bed, everything. I'm about to like screw up some nurse's poor day already. And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. So I got up and I started shuffling towards the bathroom, holding the IV stand. And like, dude, it is coming. Like, the shit is coming, and it's not one of those like logs. I wasn't prairie dogging or nothing, but like I was definitely like one wrong shuffle from Hershey squirting and leaving a nice little snail trail on the floor. But I shuffled my ass all the way to the bathroom. I dropped my pants. I turned the what you call them? What's those little drapes or curtains? The scrubs, I guess. They're not even scrubs, but the gown. Yeah, I turned the gown. I flipped it up so that way I didn't sit on it or anything like that. And I might have had like a little bit spill out onto the floor before I got on the seat. And it was pretty gross, but it was just water just pouring out of my ass, just straight water. And that wasn't good. And I was still afraid to pee, so I'm just shitting. And then I finished shitting after I wipe and everything, and it was just chunks of water. Then I needed to pee, and I'm like, screw it. I don't feel like getting back up after going through all that and everything and waiting on the nurse to unhook me and all this stuff. I might as well just pee and see how it goes. So nervously, I whipped it out and I started peeing. And as it turns out, the pee was another color. Luckily it wasn't anything red, but it was still a scary color because it was not something I was used to. But it was like almost like a greenish color. I know how that sounds. It sounds super weird, but yeah, like literally, it was yellow, like a clear yellow, but it had like kind of a bluish hue to it. So it kind of came out a little bit like a greenish color, like a light, like faint green. And yeah, it was just the strangest piss I've ever had. Everything else that I've ever had was like, you know, red and brown and all this stuff. So to see this the next following day, it was just another shade to add to my collection of colors that I pissed. I had the whole rainbow of diabetes coming out. You know, I went through orange, red, gray, uh, what's it called? Amber, or not amber. I keep saying amber. Burgundy. And then now I have like a bluish greenish color. But you know, they fleshed me out. They said, all right, just make an appointment with the endocrinologist and be on your way. So yeah, ever since then, I've been diabetic. I spent time in the hospital on Easter Sunday, just sick and pissing blood and spraying out all sides. And my life has changed since then, and I've been trying to live it accordingly, because, you know, at least the life's still there, you know. So shout out to all the diabetics going through the struggle too. And you know, you might be sitting here thinking, yeah, this is a pretty fun and hilarious story, but it's one to take away as something like, also like, how did that not hit him? It's also something that people should take away as a life lesson too. Like, don't wait till the last second to get, you know, a checkup or something, because you never know, especially if you're getting older. You know, you're not as spry and healthy as you think you are, you know, especially if you drink a lot, or you smoke a lot, or you do debauchery and go and have, you know, crazy fun. All about fun, but, you know, at the end of the day, you need to, health is wealth, man. You can't live your life thinking that you're just gonna be 20 the rest of your life and, you know, act like it, because reality will hit you really hard in the face with its dick, and there's nothing you can do or say about it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the story and take a good lesson off of this. So yeah, see ya.